Okay.
All right, welcome. Welcome, Serious Brandy. This is our third set of interviews, and it's a great pleasure today to have with us live from Cognac, Amy and Jean Pasquet, the Pasquet Cognac House, one of the true artisan cognac producers in the region. Jean and Amy, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity to be with you. It's super cool. We're happy to be there. So.
We are really excited to talk cognac with you today, and we have lots of questions. But let's start just with some background. Jean, I know you have a big family history in the region, and both of you have a history in the industry. Can you just tell us what, the history of your family involvement, how you got involved, how Pasquet came to be what it is today?
Maybe I can let Amy explain, because my English is not that good, and I will.
Your English is great.
Yeah.
That's not the problem.
It's the best for everyone to understand.
You should assume that all my questions are for both of you. So feel free.
Whoever
wants to respond.
Jean's family has been on this property here in Héraville since about 1730. So since before our country was a country. That's always mind-boggling for me. The property was passed down through generations, not necessarily from father to son. Like Jean's father, Jean-Luc, took over in 1970 from his uncle Albert. So you might have heard about our bottling uncle Albert. His uncle Albert gave him the farm in 1970 because Uncle Albert had one son, Andre, who was sick and he couldn't take care of him. And he was afraid when he passed away there'd be nobody. And Jean-Luc was a special ed teacher. And he asked Jean-Luc to take care of him in exchange for the property. And Jean-Luc was like, okay. So my Françoise, my mother-in-law, was an accounting teacher. This was a big gamble for them to take over a vineyard. They didn't know really anything about it. Jean-Luc was like 25. And he fell in love with the vineyards and with distilling in 1970 when he took over. So he transmitted that love to Jean, and Jean took over in 2011. They've been using organic agriculture methods, so no chemical fertilizers, weed killers, or pesticides since 1993. And Jean's continued that. We've made the vineyards bigger because Jean-Luc inherited 7 hectares, which was a really big vineyard. In 1970, the average size of a vineyard was about 3 hectares, and there were about 30,000 vintners. And then today, we're a small vineyard. We only have 14 hectares, but for a long time, it was just 7 hectares. And the average vineyards in Grand Champagne today are about 20 hectares. Something like that. So
what and now as I understand it, Pasquet used to do what most cognac producers do and contract to the large cognac houses.
Yeah.
And at some point stop that. Is that right?
Up until 2006. And then that's when Jean and Jean-Luc saw that there was really a demand for Pasquet cognac. So Jean-Luc started bottling his own cognacs in 1977. Like a lot of small producers, you see like Poggiro, Michel Forgeron. I can't think of the other brands right now. Yeah, all of those small producers like that started right about 1976, 1977. And Jean-Luc was one of them as well. And yeah, it's in 2006, he found he was selling too much to his contracts to be able to provide for the clients he had in the bottle. So he said, no more contracts, everything goes to the bottle. And
it was a big choice.
It was a big
decision to take.
There may be 10 farms like us who don't sell any contracts to the big houses. So of about, 3,400 vintners, something like that.
Wow, I didn't know it was that small a number. And when a small producer like Pasquet does sell to, and who did you sell to, by the way? All of the big houses?
Remy Martin.
Remy Martin, yeah. The last contract we had, my dad had like with MSC in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then it makes sense for the vintners in Grand Champagne and Petit Champagne. Usually they are in contract with Remy Martin. Because Remy buy only Petit Champagne and the Grand Champagne. So.
And what is that relationship like with the big producers? Do they come to you and say, this is what we want? Or do you make things and they just come and buy it? How does it work?
So we haven't had a relationship with them in a while, but we do have friends who still have relationships with them. So it depends on the big house. Each house is different. So for example, Courvoisier hasn't had vineyards up until this year, and they're like super cool. They're like, that cognac's good. Yeah, that's great. We'll do something with that. There's Hennessy, for example, who's like, you need to sell us 100% of what you're selling. Otherwise, we won't give you a contract.
They're tough.
You need to put 100% in new barrels. And they're very, very strict.
No, on the vintners has to buy new, tank, fermenting tank. They have so there's on each house there are 2-3 people there that make the connection between the house and the vintner, and they visit, they do audits, so they basically they ask, okay, they turn off. It's they ask to use this kind of yeast to have this,
Right, you have to buy the yeast that they ask you to buy. So that's something we do differently. We only use our native yeast, so the yeast that's present on the vineyards.
If the vintner distill, he has to distill the same way than Hennessy. So, but at the same time, it makes sense because they need like a specific profile for their wine or for their eau de vie. So if everyone does whatever they want, it's going to be complicated.
It's an industrial process. I mean, it's making. We don't know how to make that much cognac. It's making so much volume of cognac. So I don't know. It's like more than half of all cognac made is Hennessy. So they represent more than 50% of the market. So
that's very interesting. Do you know what went into the decision to make the Pasquet cognac organic when Jean-Luc made that?
So Jean-Luc had a plot of vines, his biggest plot of vines back in the early 90s that wasn't doing very well. It just was like not thriving. So he was, like I said, he wasn't a vintner. He wasn't trained as one, and he was looking for different ways that he could improve his vineyards. And he went to a meeting at the Chamber of Agriculture about organics, and he left the meeting thinking, if this guy is 80% right, the guy who was giving the conference on organics, because nobody's 100% right, I'm 100% wrong. So I need to change everything in the vineyards. I need to have a soil that's alive. I need to go back to methods of agriculture that were used before.
Because 20, 30 years ago, they think that the soil was just the support for the plant, and they don't care if it's alive. So it was always chemicals, fertilizers who feed directly the plant. And so when he went to this meeting and he understand how works the nature, you have to feed the soil, and then the soil feed the plant. This is how it works in the nature. Say, okay, we don't do that here, and it's stupid. So
we have this notion of terroir. Terroir comes from the soil, so we absolutely need to have expression of the terroir, and to do that, we can't use those chemical fertilizers like everybody does.
So he tried in 1993, and they did 2 years of try, and you see that it was possible to do that because it's a big challenge. You never know when you change all the products, and because the thing in organic farming, you don't have curative.
No, we don't have. If you think about it like medicine for us, all we have is preventative medicine and topical medicine. So what we use is copper and sulfur. Those are our two active ingredients, and they just are on the skin of the leaf. and
Yeah.
they wash off with 25
It's like
millimeters
sunscreen.
of ray, and then you have to treat again.
Yeah.
So they don't go into the sap of the plant. They're not going to change the taste of the grapes because they're just touching the leaves or touching the grapes. So if the plant gets sick, there's no medicine we can give it to take care of that sickness, to get rid of the sickness. Whereas if you're not in organics, there are plenty of products that you can give the plants to take away mildew, to take away those diseases that can attack the grapevines. There's a disease called black rot that's coming back here with great force for the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 years. And there are lots of wood diseases called esca and things that we don't know how to take care of, but nobody knows how to take care of. So
how prevalent is organic farming in Cognac?
Less than 1% of Cognac vines are farmed organically.
Yeah, we are one of the last region in France with the less surface.
Us and Champagne region. So it's the two regions that work about the same. It's because there are very few people who have their vineyards and bottle their wine and sell it directly. The Champagne region is the same thing. Lots of the vintners have contracts with the big houses. The big houses are owned by the same people in Champagne. So they just want production.
Yeah, the big houses, they don't ask for organic products and organic cognac, and at the same time, it's not easy to make organic farming here because we are very close to the ocean, so we get a lot of rain. The Uni Blanc, the grape variety, is quite sensitive to the mildew and the oidium. We need big production, so more the plant produce, more the plant is sensitive to the
It's
the
like
disease.
putting the grapevines on steroids.
And the farm are bigger and bigger and bigger every year, so it's complicated. It's complicated. So the guy here that they don't want to take too much risk.
That's risk.
And you produce usually 20% less than the other one. So.
And you mentioned that the big houses sometimes require you to use their yeast. When did you start using native yeast?
We always have used native yeast.
Okay.
So we never stopped. Actually, the big houses recommended native yeast up until the early 80s.
Yeah.
And then they stopped in the early 80s. So we've always used our native yeast, and that's not going to change.
No.
And in terms of background, Amy, you told us a lot about Jean and Jean-Luc, but you didn't tell us about you and how you got involved in this industry. What's that story?
I was studying abroad. I was doing my junior year abroad in Buenos Aires in Argentina, and Jean was making wine in Chile in the Apata Valley. Yeah. And one day I just didn't want to go to class, so I took a 14-hour bus ride to Mendoza, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to taste some wine. I mean, I'm in Argentina. I wasn't 21, of course, but that doesn't matter. And he was the other guy on the wine tasting tour with me. So he asked me to dinner afterwards, and then we went to Chile afterwards, and then to France, and then New Zealand, and yeah. But I'm actually from a dry county in North Carolina. So when I found out he was a distiller, I was like, yeah, take me with you.
And when she explained that, because I didn't know that dry county exists, it was like science fiction for me. So, what?
That's so
funny from the French perspective, right?
Oh yeah, no, it's crazy. So,
but yeah, it was really weird. So we got married here in 2006, and then we got married in America in 2007 because my family wasn't able to come. Yeah. And it was really funny because half my family is Jewish and half my family is Southern Baptist. So when my Jewish family got to the wedding, they're like, let's get some wine. And I'm like, this is a dry county, guys. So half of the table, so they drove, we all drove 45 minutes out of the county to get like big bottles of wine. We went back, and so half of the table was drinking sweet tea and the other half of the table was drinking wine.
Yeah, very interesting cultural experience.
Lots of cultural mixing on all sides there, it sounds like.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Pasquet now and about the vineyards as they exist now. What you grow Uni Blanc and Faux Blanche mostly, is that right?
We have a Montil as well, so old grape variety.
It's a local.
Some of you have tried our Pinot. So the Pinot is half Montil and half Uni Blanc, and the special Pinot taste is the Montil. So
yeah, and we have mostly have Uni Blanc. We have 1 hectare of Feuille Blanche that we distill. We distill pot and age a pot, and there will be
next year. There's going to be a completely Feuille Blanche
a
organic
10
tin.
year, 10 years old.
So that's
Feuille
really
Blanche. That's
exciting, and
yeah.
it's really amazing.
Yeah,
so we have
good.
what, 1 barrel or 2 barrels of that?
It's 3 barrels.
Ooh, okay.
It will be It depends the vintage.
It depends on the year. So yeah.
And so for a smaller producer, 14 hectares, what type of labor force do you have in the vineyards? Like, how many people does it take to harvest the grapes? And
Let
when...
me count. 1. we have 1.
And you also do.
Yeah,
so we have 1 guy.
1 full-time job guy, and there's another guy who come like 6 months and 6 months not. And then we
have seasonal workers too for really right now. So we have the relevage, so the vines are like all over the place. And we pull them up. So we need 4 people to do that.
Yeah, there are 4 people, and it's fine. And so yeah, it's just it's all the time. It's the 3 of us: Dylan in the vineyards, Amy in the office and online, and me everywhere in the cellar, vineyards, and the office. And, yeah, so yeah, usually 1 guy can do between 10 and 15 hectares. It's fine, for 1 tractor, 1. It's and as we say, so during winter and during this time, we need extra workers.
For pruning and for now.
Yeah.
When do you harvest?
On his birthday.
Between September and it's September. My dad used to harvest in October, and now with the global
because
warming,
his dad's birthday is October 14th. He always harvested on his birthday, and now his birthday is September 20th. Yeah, and usually he's harvesting.
So I think this year will be early September because we have 3 weeks in advance in the vineyards.
It's very advanced.
Yeah, it's very advanced. And 1 year in 2000, when I took over, we harvested the Feuille Blanche in August.
Which is something that's never.
I mean, the old guys in the village say, "Wow, we never, ever harvest in August." Yeah, so because the Feuille Blanche is more. Is right before the Uni Blanc, like 10 days before the Uni Blanc.
And then do you have a still on site, and what kind of still do you use?
We have a 20 hectoliter Charente pot
still, which is required to make cognac.
So we actually distill for other people. So since we don't have contracts with the big houses, we also have this activity of distiller for others, and we distill like other organic cognacs, because all organic farmers don't necessarily have their pot still, but they need someone who has the organic label to distill the cognac to keep the organic label. It's not like distillation is different, but Jean-Luc loved distilling and still distills with us.
So my dad started when he took over, he had a 500 liters pot still.
Wood burning.
And so he distilled on this one during 18 years. Yeah, and in 1989. Yeah, he built the new one. So I'm lucky because having when I took over, we had only 7 hectares, and having your own pot still and only 7 hectares, it's rare. Yeah. I mean, there are some guys that have like 20 hectares, they don't have the pot still. So it's no, I was lucky because it's quite expensive to build.
But the pot still has been there. There's been a pot still on the property for a very long time because they had an old pot still before World War I that was given to the war effort. So it was a 250 liter pot still that they gave to the war effort because it was old, and they replaced it with the 500 liter pot still, which was big at the time, in 1918 at the end of the war. So that one was replaced in 89. So there was already a pot still that was old before the First World War.
So and my dad really started his job of vintners by distilling, and he really loved that.
That's his favorite thing.
Yeah, it's
Was there a difference in moving from a wood burning to a gas powered still?
Yeah. So Jean-Luc says that with the wood burning still, sometimes the wind would blow a certain way, and he would get what he calls a merveille, so a marvelous eau de vie. And you don't know exactly why. Just because, you know, the flu on
because you have less control on or sometimes something happens.
Yeah, sometimes something
good.
happens and it's not very good. So he said, now with the gas, we get consistency. It's consistently good, but I never get that eau de vie that's just like a miracle.
And it's also the question of the size of the pulse still. The smaller pulse still give better.
So they say up to like 14 hectoliters is a small pot still, and those give like the best eau de vie. And we know several people who do, you know, their first distillation on a 25, and then you do the second one on a small one.
So it will be great. No, it will be great to have like a smaller pot still to do the second chauffe, the bunch chauffe, to make the cognac. Just burn the wine in the big one, and then do all the bunch chauffe in the small one. It could be it will be great to have that. But
maybe
we
have a paper.
I want to go back to the wind story. So the wind would blow a certain way, and that would impact because of its impact on the flame.
How the chimney pulls, just because of how the chimney pulls.
Yeah, because you put more fire or less fire at a certain point of the distillation, and it creates something, a reaction inside the pulse still. And some flavor can pass at this moment, and there one that's supposed to pass at this moment. You know, it's a very complicated process.
It's kind of magical, kind of alchemy, and he said, I haven't ever gotten one of those like magical distillates from the gas burning pot still, but I get consistently good distillate from the gas burning pot still. So it's a trade-off, and it's also really more comfortable because Jean-Luc slept at the distillery for like 3 or 4 months, and my mother-in-law called the distillery his mistress because he was always like caressing it. There was no like thermo control or anything. So I'm really glad I get to sleep with Jean during the winter. So I wouldn't go back to wood.
No, now we have tools. We have some automatics for the gas, and it's.
But all of the poop are done by hand. So everything else is done by the
important.
nose.
It's by hand, but it can be fully automatic. I mean.
Oh yeah. No, I saw a guy running his distillery in Paris with his like iPad. He was like doing a cognac distillation in Paris at this cognac event. And I'm like, you're distilling? Yeah, I just got to check this.
Yeah, but you may imagine a guy in like big distilleries, you can have one guy for 18 pot still.
Or 46.
So it's you need a lot of automatism.
It's an app, right? There's a good cognac app for you to.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your aging then. What does the cognac go directly into the cask from the still? And what type of oak are you using? Where are you sourcing it from?
So we use oak from the Limousin. So it's French oak. We have it's usually 400 liter barrels. So we buy so the harvest is stock in new barrels. It's like 25-30% of the harvest goes in the new barrels, and we use the 1 year, 2 years, and 3 years barrels for the first 12 months, because a barrel will give you the colors and tannins and the taste during 4 years, and then you wash it, so it's just for the maturation of the cognac. So every vintage goes in these barrels. So the first 12 months to give the tannins and the colors, and then I do a blend between these different casks to make one blend. It will be for the organic 4 to be aged 4 years old. So it's mostly barrels 3 years old, 4 years old barrels. So to just save the fruit and the flower and the freshness of the cognac. And then for the 7, I use mostly the cognac aged in the 1 year barrels with some new oak and the other one, just to get the spice. And it will be in, and then this batch will age for 7 years. And then for the 10 years old, it's mostly the new oak barrels. But as you get, a lot of vanillins and stuff like that, it's not good now. So you have to wait 10 years. And this cognac goes to the humid. We have cellars which a bit more humid. So we all the Fol Blanche and the cognac for the 10 goes in this cellar.
Are those all aged on the premises?
Yeah. Yeah, we have 3 cellars on property. One is our big cellar. So if you come visit us, I mean, it's not a huge cellar, but it's big for us, and it's dry. So all of the cognacs spend their first year in that cellar, and then the cognacs that will age 10 years or longer go to the humid cellar after the first year. So that humid cellar, and we have a special cellar for the Pinot des Champs.
And after the first, so they do the first year in a younger barrel, a newer barrel.
Right.
Then they're switched, and then are they re-racked? Are they location changed after that for the older ones, or do they just sit for the most part?
John has redone the cellar quite a bit this year and in the past few years, but when he took over, there were just barrels on the floor, and we've been building our stocks, so he's had to like build up.
So yeah, usually when I set the new barrel, they will stay here for a few years. So what I do, it's
there was a row that you moved that had probably never been moved since. Who knows? I don't know, since the cellar was built or something. There were some incredibly old barrels that were leaking.
Yeah. So, but it's on the traditional way. So we don't have a rack or stuff like that. So if the barrels on the bottom has a problem. It's a lost barrel because you have to undo the old stuff, and it's complicated. So I make sure to, when I remove barrels, I check the barrels. If there's a wood broken, go to the cooperage, get fixed, and go back and hope to not remove it before a few years.
The cooperage is somewhere else, or do you have a cooperage as well?
No, we're too tiny, but the cooperage we work with is like 5 minutes away from the house, and it's a very traditional cooperage.
Yep.
We trust them. He comes and tastes our eau de vie. So I know, and we've been working with him on the Fol Blanche with the fine grain oak, because before we used to just put everything in wide grain oak, and he's like, no, I think we should do a trial. So we've been working together on that. So it's really important to know your cooperage, know your cooper. And we used to pick our own wood and dry it at the house, and we realized that actually the coopers do a better job. So we're not good at everything, and so we need to trust people who are. And so we've been working with them for the past 3 years, and they're really, really good.
And have you always used Limousin oak?
Yes, always Limousin.
Yeah. It's for the cognac region.
I think it's a traditional choice, and especially in Grand Champagne, a lot of the flavor profile of Grand Champagne is like thanks to that Limousin oak.
And how many casks do you produce a year?
But we filled for 2019. I filled like 23 casks. So it's more or less 20, but it depends it depends the degree of the eau-de-vie. If it's foolproof, it's 23. If I do like a 63, I need 4 or 5 more casks. So it's around 20, 25, between 20 and 25 casks.
And according to the harvest, so sometimes, we don't get as much harvest because of mildew, or in 2017, we got a late spring frost that,
it was 0 cask.
Yeah, 0 cask, actually. So climate change is real. But hopefully this year started well. We've missed the late spring frost.
Yeah.
Now we have to worry about hail for a while, but every vintner is worried about hail. So
And that raises an interesting question. I want to get back to some of these basics too, but is there anything you can do or that you're thinking about in terms of the climate change and its effects on the vineyards and how that'll affect your production in the future?
So the BNIC is...
You get an insurance.
Yeah, we did buy insurance after 2017. We weren't insured, and that was just like a big financial hit. And now, we realized, okay, we can't do that. But the problem for us is we sell our own cognac, so it's not like we could use the insurance money to buy our own cognac back. So
but it helps to pay.
It does help to pay the bills. I'm not saying we shouldn't have insurance. I'm just saying we're in a different situation from people who just grow wine to sell to a big company.
Yeah, our chance is that our incomes is from the cognac we sell in bottles. So there was no like direct impact by losing harvest now, but there will be an impact during 10 years
Right.
during it. So there's a dilution
Well,
of
there
the
was
problem.
an impact right away for the
yeah,
Pinot,
for the Pinot de Charente and
we
the
made
young products.
other apéritifs, my framboise, and we didn't have them to sell for a whole year, and that was kind of complicated for us. And you know, when people don't have your juice for a while, they stop thinking about you and don't buy it when it comes back. So yeah, so it's important to keep our production up.
And your question was if there's something we can do to...
The BNIC is testing different grape varietals now. So they may change our grape varietal like they did back after phylloxera.
That's for to reduce the pesticides and maybe for the drought. No.
The drought?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the problem with the weather, for example, this afternoon we went with the kids to we drive and we pass through a plot of vines where they set. Can you explain that?
Yeah. Okay, so there is one of the biggest vineyards in Grand Champagne.
The biggest.
The biggest. Yeah. yeah. Anyway, they have decided to central heat two of their plots of vines. So they have this fuel burning tank that heats the wires that the vines.
No. It's electric wires like a resistance.
Yeah.
So it's to make the heat.
Yeah.
And it's electric. It's
yeah, but you got to get electricity. So it's a generator,
and
the generator burns fuel.
Sorry,
so you're just creating more, I guess.
It's absolutely stupid because they plant vines in where you're not supposed to plant vines, and because you get frost because it's on the bottom. And then they spent like 58,000 euros per hectare to set that, and I mean it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So and you can have some wind.
Big, windmill kind of fan things that are gonna move the air so you don't get frost. And those are like 40,000 euros.
It's very expensive,
and you need 2 per hectare, and it's like.
No, it's 1 for 4 hectares, and you're never sure that it will work.
Yeah. No, but Christian told me you need 2 to really work the air. So.
But anyway, so no, it's complicated. I just try another way to prune or to do the things to try to retarder, to delay the blooming, and but no, there's
it worked. I mean, it would have worked if we'd had late spring frost, but we didn't have it this year, and it's really complicated as far as the plan for work in the vineyards goes. So
and again, the ale you can set net on the vines.
Yeah, now that we can do.
So Martel is trying that, so we'll see.
You mentioned early harvests and hail. Are there other impacts of climate change that you have to deal with in your vineyard?
But
the drought last year, we lost juice because there wasn't rain for I don't know how long. We didn't get rain.
Yeah, summers
really, really hot summer here, which was nice for the touristic part of Cognac and everything. But for the vines, our grapes, we have a microclimate that gives us very little rain anyway. So anyway, Gonzac is on the other side of us. The rain stays over there, but the hail too. But yeah, our grapes were especially prone to drought this past year, and we'll see this summer. It's looking like it's going to be another hot summer.
And it can affect the quality of the cognac because of you need acidity, and more the weather is hot, less acid you get in the juice. So yeah, it's some challenge. Yeah.
Do you think, over the long run, is it possible that this is fundamentally going to change the way cognac tastes, is made?
Yeah. It could definitely change that because, like we said earlier, they're looking at new grape varieties. I mean, the phylloxera crisis changed without a doubt how cognac tastes. And this climate change is going to do the same kind of thing if we can still grow grapes that are acidic enough to make cognac and low in alcohol enough. For the first time ever, people were getting wine that was 12% alcohol, which is, you're not even allowed to distill that usually.
No. A good wine, it's like around
8 or 9.
9% of alcohol, and now it's every year it's 10, 11. It's much more.
So it's too strong.
The guys are very happy because they sell pure alcohol. So more you have the degrees in your wine, more you make alcohol. So, but for the quality, is not the best.
Let's talk about aging a little bit. We talked about the cask. When you put something away in a cask, it sounds like you have a general sense of how long you will age it. Do you then taste and see how it's doing, or do you have a sort of deadline date that you want to bottle it by? How does that work?
We have physical inventory every year. So when we take the physical inventory, we're actually going to take that time to taste every barrel. So we have to, inventory to see how much is evaporated. We have, the angel share here. And when we do that, we take the percentage alcohol, how much has gone down, and we're going to, test and see how it's aging. So every year we do that.
At least once.
Yeah.
And then we check when it's time to blend and to create the new blend for the four, because we blend two vintage together. Okay?
For the moment.
So it's a very simple blend for the moment. Yeah, we're thinking to have just one vintage
every Champagne.
Yeah.
So the thing with the two vintages was we didn't have enough stock to create a lot of complexity when we were making the 4, 7, and 10 before, but now we're building our stocks and we're thinking maybe we'll do one vintage, so it'll truly be an organic 4, but it'll be 2 terroirs to give it more of that complexity that we're looking for in the 4, 7, and 10. So we're moving toward that, but that's something new because we just recovered, we bought those vineyards in Petit Champagne in 2015. So yeah, it hasn't been that long.
Yeah, and but and I don't have enough time to I'm not like 100% seven master, so to do the vineyards and the office and everything. So seven master usually when they do that full-time job, they check more than I do, but I will. But we're doing okay.
Yeah, and there's a cellar right behind us too, so we do sometimes go in and taste.
Yeah.
What's the oldest brandy that you have aging?
1949.
Yeah, but it's not from.
It's not from our house.
Yeah, we can talk. Yeah, we can talk about that. The
Esprit de Famille Cognac. So.
Yeah, as we say, we had a contract with Rémy Martin until 2006. So it was a problem to. We didn't have enough cognac to save and age a very long time. So when I took over, the stock was.
It was really dwindling.
Yeah.
But we love old cognac. So and we have friends who haven't been able to bottle their own cognac. So it just came out of that we were like, well, let's bottle these. Yeah,
we don't have this old cognac, but we like that, we love that, and let's find. So we the oldest cognac is from other properties, and it will goes in l'Esprit de Famille.
That's your independent bottling line, right?
Yeah.
So this kind of and it's very fun.
It's great. So we do get to taste like other people's stuff. Maybe once a month we'll go to different cellars and taste everything. Oh, terrible. Terrible.
And so for that line, the L'Esprit de Famille line, you're using both stock that you have that was purchased elsewhere and finding new, knocking on doors, it sounds like?
No. We're always looking. So when we're looking, we're really looking for the Esprit de Famille. And sometimes we do private bottlings too, because we sometimes find cellars that are full of amazing things, but we don't want to do too many Esprit de Famille that are named the same name, because we don't want people to be like, oh, I have that one, but no, it's not that one. So there's just one barrel that's bottled, and that's a one-time thing. And then sometimes, in Christian cellar, we found some really amazing other cognacs that we didn't bottle because we're not going to do 3 Cognac de Christian, but it's something that we propose. I think maybe in Japan it's going to be a private labeling from Christian cellar. So There are really amazing cognacs still in people's cellars, but they're disappearing pretty quickly. So.
Yeah, and we thought it was very interesting because for me, a cognac, it's big houses that try to have the same taste every year, and every year exactly the same, and I don't like that. And we think that cognac is unique and should be unique, and what it's more unique than just one cask in a single estate. And and it's incredible when you see a lot of like maybe 10, 15 barrels, the same vintage, and
not one of them is the
and
same.
none of one is the same. It's you taste they taste all different. So that's great. And in the same time, for us, it's like saving this barrel and saving this taste, because it will, if we don't buy it, it will goes in a big cellar, then in a big blend, and lost forever.
At Christian's house, right before we got there, Baptiste de Loiseau purchased some of his oldest Grand Champagne for Louis XIII, and so that Grand Champagne disappeared. Who knows what it tastes like today?
And how do you, so when you're looking for this for these other producers, is it something you hear about and follow up? How do you find this stuff?
Yeah, we started by neighbors.
Yeah,
actually,
neighbors.
Jean, Cognac de Jean, his farm, his vineyard is like, his house is 50 meters from us.
It's like right across the street.
Yeah. So no, we started with friends, colleagues, and then we're talking about this project and say, go see this guy, go see this one,
really
go
just
this
word
one.
of mouth and
just
through the grapevine.
So more and more it's people that we don't know. And Christian, it was funny because I just contacted him to buy something for the pints. And we talk, and you distill, you have cognac in your cellars, can we try it?
And he had really good cognac.
So now it's we get name and addresses from friends or other contact. And
the Cognac region is really actually tiny, so if you do get to come see us here, you can see how close everyone is to one another.
And we found a lot of Petit Champagne because we're very close to Petit Champagne.
Oh, I was just going to ask that. So you go outside of Grand Champagne for.
Oh yes, that's really the amazing thing. We have always been, very Champagne, but we're really looking forward to being able to bottle other crus and find unique things.
We discovered, we discovered the Petit Champagne, and it's beautiful. I mean, it's really beautiful, and so it's geographically we're in Grand Champagne and Petit Champagne, so it's easier to find the connection around us. But we will love to have some Borderie, we'll love to have Finbois or Bonbois, but we don't have the name right now. But no, we don't care. If it's good, it's good. It doesn't matter if it's Grand Champagne or Petit Champagne or it's.
Everything is noble and everything is unique. So I'd really love to go outside of our group. So.
You still, it's amazing that you're still finding really, it sounds like really interesting and older things in people's.
We try a lot of stuff, and it's not always all that good. So we do have to cull it.
Yeah. In some cellars, there's nothing. We found nothing. That it was the cognac was good, but not good enough to be to be bottled. So no, it's not working all the time. It's
no.
And we have to hurry up because.
All right, I don't know if people can see me, but it seems that we've lost the Pasquets, or maybe they've lost me. I'm going to try to see what we can do here. Apologies. Ah, are you back? Hello? Just hearing.
Yeah.
The Pasquets explained to me that they are, as they put it, in the middle of nowhere and have trouble with connection sometimes. So we'll see what we can do to get this back. Jean, Amy, are you there?
Yeah.
I heard you for a minute. Oh, now I can see you.
I'm here. Just trying to connect his phone.
Sort of become an impressionist style interview.
Impressionism, yeah.
Oh, there you go. Now I can hear you.
Okay, super.
I can see you. Okay.
No, I'm still connected to mine.
Je viens de partager là.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna try.
Oh, Amy, are you there? Well, welcome to the age of Zoom.
J'ai 4G, j'ai récupéré 4G.
Okay.
There you are.
Super. So we're trying with Jean's phone again.
Okay, I can't see you as well, but I can hear you fine.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, sorry for that.
No,
Yeah,
no,
we don't know what's going on. Usually we have 4G disappearing.
whatever G we can get, we'll take.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
So where were we? You were talking us about the different cognacs you seek out and what it's been like to do that. But let's go back and talk about your cognac. Does it go now after you've aged it? Does it go directly to the bottle? Does it go to demijohn? What do you do with it?
No, everything is from barrel to bottle. Actually, we bottle on the property. If you get a bottle of Pasquet in America, it's our hands that put it in the bottle too. There's a lot number on the back of every bottle.
So yeah, it's in barrel
Until the day it's bottled.
the day before 2 days before the bottling.
And so you have that date on your lot number. So this says lot 1413. This is an organic 4. And then it says M, so it's a mise en bouteille on the 4th of February 2020. So you have
the
all
lot
that
number is
information.
the phone.
There.
And so what does the lot number signify on that bottle?
So the two vintages. So this is a 2014, 2013.
So you have L1413, means 2014, 2013 together, and the date of the bottling.
Now you use that lot number system as opposed to putting a vintage year. Can you talk about why you do that?
So we don't have vintage seals on any of the barrels. you're going to have to trust us on this one. But these lot numbers have been used at our house for, I don't know, a really long time. So even if you find some kind of old bottle on eBay, you might actually be able to find the vintages that are in it and the date of bottling.
So yeah, and we use the numbers. So we have the 4, organic 4, 7, and 10. So that's the compte d'âge.
Yeah, so it's the technical aging thing. So Cognac birthday is born on April 1st every year, and so these cognacs are all turned 4 on April 1st of 4 years after they were distilled.
So we decided to stop using the VS, VSOP, and XO because you never know what you have in the bowl. A VS could be 2 years old, or could be 6 years old. The VSOP could be 4 years old or 15 years old. The XO could be before 6 years old up to 25, 30 years old. So it's you don't have the information.
So even for people who know, like you all, Cognac is so hard to read. So yeah, we wanted something really easy to read on these bottles. And the same for Esprit de Famille, we wanted to be like completely transparent about what's in the bottle.
Yeah, so as you say, for the L'Esprit de Famille, we use the lot numbers. For example, André is the L73.
So
you have to understand that it's 1973, and yeah, it's the way we.
And so people understand. So in Cognac, if you wanted to actually say 1973, there's a whole bureaucratic rigmarole you'd have to go through, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So you have to call the BNIC, and they come and put their stamp, their wax stamp on your barrel. So you can't open the barrel, you can't break the seal.
It's from the first day or after distilling, and so you have to start the process from the beginning.
Every time you want to work in your cellar, you got to call them. They got to come out. So it's already kind of long to get an appointment. That's why Guillaume Gros-Perrin uses notary publics to kind of do this system, and that works for them too. Anyway, yeah, the BNIC to get an appointment is apparently really long. And if you really need to work on your cognac, you can't just be waiting 3 months for some guy from the BNIC to be like, okay, I'll come today.
And cognac has always been blended, so that's why we don't see so much.
Well,
vintage.
It's coming. There are more.
It's coming more and more, but traditionally, it's blend. So. It's not like Armagnac. Armagnac, they play a lot on that, on the vintage stuff. But
you can't put 1973 without going through that, but you can put lot 73, and it's
right. Yeah.
Fine. And
you say to the custom, you say that's the lot number. It's the number of the barrels, whatever you say.
Right.
So there's like I think it's Ragno Sabourin, they have number 20, number 15, stuff like that.
Yeah, and Berlin Tersigny has like Rue 73.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so everyone finds
Forgeron say barrel number 88.
89,
so yeah, everyone has their his own way to.
And I think currently you don't use any additives in your cognac, is that right?
No, not anymore. My dad used like the three, the sugar, the boisé, and
I didn't think he used
the caramel. Oh, yeah. He did use it, and so yeah, I've decided to stop when I took over, to stop using that. And now we can find cognac. Obviously, they have additives, and they're good if they did it the right way, and they use
there can be really good
old boisé, and it's fine. For the old cognac, it's fine. When you use additive in a young cognac, and you have very brown, like 2 years cognac, and it's very dark and sweet and caramel, and I don't see the point. But for the old cognac, it's okay. I'm pretty sure in Jean there's boisé, and all other stuff that we bought. Was made with boisé, but boisé, you can age the boisé and have on the property. I still have boisé. I have boisé from 1992. I have very old stuff, and
what are you gonna do with that?
No, I was stuck on that, and I have it. I can sell it. I mean, I can.
Yeah,
I can
somebody
sell
might
it,
want
yeah.
that. Yeah.
But I didn't try to do it. But anyway, we have that. So yeah, we think a cognac doesn't need any to this. I mean, a good cognac, if you do it in the right way, there is absolutely no reason to add something. It's well, there is one thing we don't do. We don't chill filter the cognac. So
That leaves the cognac whole, and it has, when you chill filter, all of those bigger molecules are going to flocculate together, stick together, and they'll get taken out. And those big molecules are what are going to coat your mouth and make it feel.
yeah, so
good
that's
when
why you have to add sugar to
give the roundness back.
yeah. So if you don't do that, it's the cognac will be just smooth and if you work slowly.
And full bodied, and yeah.
And where are you selling your cognac? Who's buying Pasquet cognac these days?
Fine, Pasquet, good question. So our biggest market today is in Russia, and our second biggest market today is in the United States.
And for market. So yeah, we are in 20 countries.
Yeah, just over 20 countries.
Yeah.
And France is our third biggest market. It was our biggest market last year, but then Russia and America grew. So
Yeah.
that's wonderful. But we'll see with COVID, who knows
Yeah.
what's going to happen. I mean,
things are changing.
things are changing.
Yeah.
We got some emails from Russia being like they're passing some crazy laws and they won't be able to import any wine or spirits from France.
Yeah. So we're a bit worried. We're a bit worried about what's happening in US. So we don't know if the.
Yeah, well, Oliver, I mean, so it depends on what we have partners in all of those countries, and it depends on how dependent they are on Horeca, so on hotels, restaurants, everything. So, like in Sweden, it's a state monopoly, and our importer there only works with hotels and restaurants, and yeah, he's kind of suffering right now. And then here in France, we work a lot with restaurants and cafes, and yeah, they're not open. So yeah, complicated, but we'll see. I mean, it's really good to be able to do these lives and contact people directly, which is pretty cool.
How did Pasquet get a foothold in the Russian market?
A lady came to our house and was like, "Your cognac's really good. I want to buy them." And it happened to be like one of the biggest importers in Russia. So until I would say your parents got super lucky because his parents don't speak English and people came to their doors.
Yeah.
So there was a book published called The Big Book of Cognac by Gert Pazinski. He's a German writer, and he found Jean-Luc and just was like amazed by his cognacs. And he wrote great things about him in the book. And that brought Germans to their door. And then that brought Scandinavians to their door. And that brought other Europeans to their door. And they really didn't travel or do any export work or anything. It was just the quality of their cognac that brought people here. And when Jean took over, I think they were already available in 12 different countries.
Yeah. Well, but it was very small.
Right. It was small, but yeah, it was pretty amazing.
For the fact to not speak English, to not travel, and yeah, it was already good. I mean, that's
yeah.
So, and now we're, I mean, the work that Amy does with the social media, we opened it like 8 markets in
18 months.
Yeah, with only using social media. So it's for us because we don't have the finance to do
and
all
we can't separate ourselves from the vineyard either. I mean, we can't be all over the world while the vines are growing and while there is no sales pot still is distilling.
We don't have salespeople. It's us.
It's just us.
You don't have a coterie of brand ambassadors who will go out.
It's us. That's it.
And what about the American market? How did you get into the American?
So Jean-Luc loved blues music, and there's a blues festival here in Cognac. There has been one for I don't know how many years, a long time. And he met an American blues artist at this festival. And this guy fell in love with Cognac and fell in love with the Jean-Luc Pasquet Cognac.
And a girl in Cognac.
And a girl in Cognac. And Jean-Luc's like, well, why don't you sell my Cognac in America? And that's just what they did. Yeah. So they started Family Tradition Cognac. And that was, I don't know, I guess back in 2006, I think.
Mm-mm.
And since then, we've been in the United States in, I mean, smaller markets. And then Family Tradition got like merged with High Road Spirits. So High Road Spirits is an importer of fine Japanese whiskey and gin. And now they have this portfolio of cognac, not just us, but other small producers. And so we're supposed to be in 33 states. I'm not really sure, but apparently.
But that's the 33 states without
A monopoly.
monopoly. So
Interesting that your connections, see, they're somewhat random, right? You meet people, they like the cognac. It's not a marketing strategy, I would typically see.
No. But for the US, Larry, I mean, I think he was walking in the street of Cognac and it was raining.
So he went in the Cognac.
And he went to the Cognac and just to be inside something.
So he asked the guy who runs the Cognac, I want a really dry Cognac. And so.
And he presented the Cognac Pasquet, and then he read something and say, okay, I have to go see this guy, and so this Jean Pasquet. So it was very random. No, we have clients. They sell our cognac as a second job. The guys.
They just like in Canada. Our friend Daniel.
Canada, like, Belgium, Germany. We have little clients. They have two jobs, but they have the passion for the.
They love cognac and they love our cognac, so they're really happy to represent us, and we're happy to have them representing us because they're so passionate about that. Yeah. So we're lucky to have those guys as partners, and then we have bigger importers.
No, we have a bit of everything.
Work really well, and.
Yeah, in Russia they have like 200 shops in
Moscow.
In Moscow, just Moscow.
So it's really big.
They're all different.
Russia.
Yeah.
And how is it I mean, you're a small organic vineyard. You don't sell to the big houses. How does that? How hard is that in cognac to be able to do and push on? I mean, it seems like you've done you have a lot. You have these. You've done really well. You've popularized a lot of exports now. How it must have been a real uphill battle to do that.
Yeah, 20 years ago, my dad, he was, the people thought he was crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, to do
organics.
Farming, selling bottles and having such small vineyards, and but in time of crisis, it was good to not have just one client like the other one. That when they have just one client is Remy Martin Hennessy.
But I think that's also why a lot of those brands were created in the 70s. I mean, there was the gas crisis. So
no, it's we are very different. I mean, we are very different.
I don't think there's really anyone else like us in cognac. But
yeah.
But that's what makes cognac cool. There are a lot of like very different producers, and the sad thing is we're seeing all these small brands disappear, and we love these like small brands. And since the prices of bulk cognac have gone up, a lot of the younger generations are just like, why would I even want to bother spending my time on bottling, spending my time promoting my bottles? I can just sell it for the same price in bulk.
Yeah.
So even like the Cognac, we're pretty close to them, and they have like 1,200 references. Stefan is like asking me, who can I put in? Because I'm missing, there's all these holes in my shelves. There are all these brands that are disappearing.
But and now being in the organic farming is a plus, because a lot of our colleagues who sell in bottles say, you're lucky you have the organic labels, and that's a big difference. And but it's you can have it.
But the cognac takes a while to make.
Yes.
I mean, it takes like.
So now, 2 years ago, people there don't care about organic cognac. I mean, organic meat, cheese, vegetables, okay. Then beer and wine, okay. But spirits, organic spirits. But now it's more and more popular.
Now we're seeing rums, we're seeing whiskeys, we're seeing other people doing organics and seeing a real difference in flavor. And also people want to have less impact on the planet. So, I'm not saying we're perfect at all, because we do have an impact on the planet using organic agriculture. So that's,
No.
I mean, that's
It's
not,
not
perfect,
perfect,
at
yeah.
all. So, but people do want to be a bit more virtuous. So yeah.
And so do you see, what do you think the future is for the small producers in Cognac? I mean, it sounds like it's tough, and it's been tough for them.
It is pretty tough, and it's hard to see right now with what's going on, because I think the people who gave up their brands recently are going to regret that pretty quickly. Maybe they'll start bottling again, but it's really hard to know, because
I don't know. I think, people, they want to know what they drink or what they eat, and to know the story behind and the guy behind. And so, lucky us, we are working and living in the same times of internet and social media. So we have this chance that my parents didn't have to communicate, and so no, there's a future for the small brands, and
as long as they're connected and
I think I'm more worried for Rémy Martin or Courvoisier to fight.
No, I'm not worried about those.
Against Hennessy. Hennessy, they want everything. They just want everything.
They told Paul Giraud that.
And no, yeah, and for the other big brands, it's complicated. I mean, Hennessy.
What do you mean by that? That Hennessy wants everything? What do you mean?
I mean, in
every bottle of cognac that's sold. This is what Yann Fiou told Paul Giraud. Every bottle of cognac that's sold, that's yours and not mine. No, it should be mine. It should be Hennessy's.
I don't remember the numbers, but on their on their
shareholder report.
Yeah, the
shareholder report.
They want to sell, I think it's around 20 million cases before 2030, and it's what we sell now. The region sell. So there's no
we can't
two ways to do that.
because we can't plant. I mean, Europe has planting rights for grapevines, and we can't just plant as much grapevines as we want. So
yeah, the stock and the production are limited, and if you want to double your sales, there's only one thing: it's you take everything. And really, they're acting in the region like this. I mean, it's so it's good for the cognac to have like a leader, to have like a big house who promote the name of cognac all around the world, opening market. That's good, but in the same time, it's they're probably too big. I mean, number 2 and number 3, Martin and Rémy, they share 30% of the market. So it's maybe 10% for Rémy and 20 for Martel. And so the gap between number 2 and number 1 is it's huge. It's huge. So
and since you stopped contracting for Rémy, have Rémy or the other big houses come back to you and asked you to sell them, or did they just leave you alone?
No, actually no. They no, I'm surprised they don't, because we know that they're looking for new contract everywhere. So no, nobody tried to.
I don't even know how that would be. I mean, you have to have a relationship with them to be.
Avec un courtier.
Yeah, but we don't even have really that many relationship with courtier. So they're like these middlemen who work between the houses, and they work on their own kind of. They take a little margin. It's like I guess an agent who finds a contract, and so we don't even have really any relationship with them. So I don't think anybody's really thinking Pasquet is going to sell them some cognac. We do have Edouard Normandin-Mercier who asks us for organic cognac every year, and we're like, we sell
I'm
it.
sorry, who asks you for cognac every year?
Normandin-Mercier. No, Normandin-Mercier.
Do you think the Pasquet, because you mentioned Hennessy, like at least they create a name for cognac, but do you think the Pasquet drinker comes through the big brands, or do you think they come through others?
I don't, but you know, I don't know. I mean, it's so hard to know, like, who our final drinkers are everywhere. Like, we have Series Brandy, so in America we're in good contact with you, but I don't know that you all are buying bottles of 4 either. So there are other people buying bottles of 4 in America who I have no idea who they are. So maybe they tried Hennessy VS and they're like, no, I want to try something else. So hard to tell. We have really good contact with the people in Norway because they're like huge cognac fans, insane cognac fans, and they only love stuff that's over like 20 years old. And so
Do you have Norwegians in your group in Series Brandy?
Do we have what?
Do you have
Norwegians?
Norwegians?
I'm sure we do. We, you know,
It's possible. So yeah, they're pretty crazy about cognac, and they know their stuff too. But yeah, they're so we're really close to them. We know what they're drinking, and we know like what they don't like, because we go give master classes there pretty frequently. There are some pretty big cognac events there. But it's true, we're supposed to go to America this summer, and we're not going to be able to get to America this summer.
I feel for you because I was supposed to go to France this summer, so sorry about that. Are there other houses doing it the way you do that you would recommend, or that you think are similar, either in near you or other where places in Cognac? Are there other Cognacs you feel like are really doing it the right way, or the similar?
Oh yeah. There's Fanny Fougera.
Yeah, you've tried some of Fanny Fougera through the grapevine, I think. She did a really good one. She also has, her regular range, which is very good, and I think she's coming out in America. David Hamnou is you can find his Pinot in America. It's Nicolas Palazzi, who has his Pinot des Charentes, but he has some really incredible cognac.
So it's young. It's the profile is very young, fruity, but it's very vibrant. I mean, it's something special.
Yeah, it's completely special. But he's the only biodynamic producer, so to meter, label, and everything in the Cognac region. And I think his cognac is unique for that. So,
and what separates biodynamic from organic?
Well, they do some interesting things like filling a cow horn with cow manure and burying it at a certain phase of the moon. So you really got to believe in it. But apparently, like most of the really high-end amazing vineyards in France are using these methods as well. So apparently it works. We've spoken to many biodynamic vintners who are like, yeah, it works. And you're like, why? But apparently it works.
Yeah, my dad he did that for 2 years, but and then he stopped because it was too much work. It was extra work, and
you have to do certain things at certain phases of the moon at certain hours of the day, like maybe at 4 a.m. you're gonna have to go up and dig a hole, and you're
I'm pretty sure we're going to I think we'll do that again one day. Not now because we have too much to think and to do, but I have a friend who just started to do that, and so I'm just following him and see what he's doing, and so because there's apparently there's a real difference in the quality of the grapes and the quality of the plants and the soil with the biodynamics stuff. So we'll see.
No, otherwise we really like Guillaume Gros-Perrin cognac, but I think you've all heard of that, so
Guillaume Gros-Perrin, Jean Fillou, it's one of our favorite brands that we like a lot. Who else?
We tried some very good Normandin Mercier last night, rare. So if you get a chance to find that bottle.
It would be great if you could, after this, go on to the Facebook thread for this and list these for people, because I think people would like.
Okay, no problem.
Yep,
yeah. And we can even take pictures of some of the bottles. I mean, we have a certain number of bottles in the cabinet behind us. So.
Navarre.
Navarre, but also Palazzi. So Navarre's really good.
Is there anything special you're working on? You mentioned a few things, but that you're really excited about that we should look for in the either near or longer term future from Pasquet?
Well, there are some really incredible Esprit de Famille that are going to come out at the end of this year. So they're still two Petit Champagne again. I think we've fallen in love with the Petit Champagne Cru. So there's 189 and 194. And I think you'll really
two
enjoy
different
those.
two
Very
different terroirs, the real parts one is very special, the special area in Petit Champagne, and the other one is in the border with Grand Champagne and Petit Champagne, so it's very Grand Champagne profile. So no, it's good. And
the Folle Blanche, which I think will really be interesting for you all to taste, to see. It's a totally different flavor profile from the Uni Blanc, and I love it. It's incredible cognac, and I can't wait to have it in the bottle. It's exciting.
And
the
first Folle Blanche, when is that? What's the vintage of that?
April 2021. It'll be a 10, an organic 10, but in
because it's 2010. We start with the 2010, so it will be one vintage.
Single vintage.
But it's not millésimé.
No. But we're working on that. I need to work somewhere on the labels and stuff. But anyway, that's going to be really good.
That sounds very exciting. Well, I want to thank both of you. It's been fantastic talking to you and hearing about how, your unique operation and how you do things. I hope we will have much more Pasquet Cognac in the future, because it really is incredible, and you're doing great work. So it's been a real pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And thanks to everyone who's joined us tonight.
And we take go if there's some question. We can go.
Yeah, you can always write to us via messenger, via email.
But we will answer the question after that.
Yeah, they're also often, since there's a delay in recording, and since I can't always get to every question, sometimes people leave questions in the thread. If you can go and answer those, that's great. I also want to give a shout out to our other Serious Brandy member, Justin Shane from the Plebiac blog. He talked to me and offered a lot of good questions for me to ask you guys. So and Justin, I know, has brought in a lot of your great.
He's great. And I would love to have him here in person. So Ryan was here last summer, and it was fabulous to have him. Yeah. And so Justin's turn is next, but
when the border will open,
whoever wants to come, we're building a guest house on the property. So when the workers come,
almost done welcome.
You're always welcome here. So
All right. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice day.